The improved collection is back for a limited time. If you guys want to check it out, link is down below, and enjoy the video. All right, my friends, if you're just tuning in, we did manage to hit 2450 on Izviz. Well, the challenge is 2400, but we were farming so hard we went to 2450. Izviz, the elite priest. It took 6 days, 163 games in 2v2 arena, and 275 games in 3v3 arena. I did want to do a quick little recap on things that were helpful in doing this challenge and how I played on Shadow Priest to do the challenge. So first, if you guys are curious about the challenge, what we did is we just boosted up a brand new character to level 60. On my main, I had 80 renown. So since I had 80 renown on my main, I could go to the vendor in Oribos and just straight up buy 40 renown on this guy. So I picked a Covenant, which I picked Necrolord. I got straight to 40 renown, and I bought full blue gear from the auction house. And then I just pressed Q1 arena, and I just started playing with full blue gear and my 40 renown. I sent over a legendary too for my main. I sent over Soul Ash, like enough Soul Ash so I could just buy a legendary, and I bought the Pallid Command legendary. So basically, we just started playing with no gear, 235 legendary, and 40 renown, right? And then from there, we just got a ton of conquest and a ton of honor. I didn't even finish gearing up. So my item level is 236 at 247 PvP item level. Didn't even finish gearing up. And I just spam upgraded everything throughout all those games. And yeah, it took about 6 days. And the conduits here, we have Unholy Transfusion, Ooze. This is just Plague Deviser, Marileth. Light's Inspiration, Plagueborn Cleansing Slime, Haunting Apparitions, Clear Mind, Ultimate Form, Dissonant Echoes, Undulating Maneuvers, Move with Grace, and Kevin's Oozling. And the way I got 200 conduits on all the conduits unlocked was that same vendor that gave me 40 renown in Oribos. You could instantly get 40 renown and instantly unlock all conduits. Only at 200, you know, but that's still pretty good. At 200 is still pretty decent. So basically you can get up to arena ready pretty much instantly. Boom. So in arena on the priest, some of the things that were helpful is when I first started playing the priest, I was playing Void Torrent. Now I think Void Torrent's really good, but it's really difficult if you're playing against melee cleaves, and it's also difficult if you're new to a priest. I would say Void Torrent is like higher skill cap, and if you're playing against casters. If you're playing at like under 2600 rating and you're playing against melee, Damnation is just going to be way better, way more value. And I didn't realize this at first, but the thing about the Damnation that's so good is it puts a pain, a VT, and a DP on your target, but it procs Unfurling Darkness. So basically, if you're fighting 3 people, you know, say this is the healer and there's 2 deeps. Dude, this detail thing keeps... Okay, there we go. Fighting 3 players, healer, DPS, and they're training you. See, these target dummies are just beating me up. The first thing I can do is just pop PI, Unholy Nova, Damnation, Unfurling Darkness, and I can immediately then go for a Psychic Core and do a Fear on the healer, and like pop like a Shadow Fiend and Shadow Crash, and we're doing a ton of damage. So a nice opener would just be to like PI, Unholy Nova, Damnation, Unfurling Darkness, stun the healer is immune because it's a target dummy, into a Fear, it's also immune. And then I can throw out a Shadow Crash, I can throw out a Shadow Fiend, and that's all without you casting a single ability. After this Fear is over, I can even throw out my Psy Fiend. That entire time, I never even casted once. Right? And that's with 2 melees just training you. And then from there, we're going for Fate Kicks. If we can get a Fate Kick or 2, that's when we can get a Vampiric Touch rolling again. So Unfurling Darkness is like super OP, because if you get 1 set of dots, you can get a 2nd set of dots. A lot of times you want to dot both DPS and get CC on the healers with Psychic Horror into Fear or Psychic Horror into Silence. And this talent really like allows you to do that. So that pretty much farms. Every game I pretty much played Greater Fade, Psy Fiend, and Improved Massive Spell. So defensively, you pretty much have 2 defensive cooldowns. You have Dispersion. If you're getting trained, you disperse. You know, if you're just like a Kyrian racial on you, you can fade out of it. So you have Trinket Fade and Disperse, right? So Trinket Fade if a rogue is on you, or disperse if like a rogue is like kidney smoke bomb. If there's a Kyrian on you, you do that. If there's big bursts, you either fade or dispersion. Other than that, as a Shadow Priest, you're double dotting. If they're not on you, you can even triple dot, and you're just going crazy on the DPS. If they're not on you, then of course you're just free casting. You're going Void Eruption, you're putting Mind Blast on cooldowns, you're putting Void Bolt on cooldown, you're putting Unholy Nova on cooldown, you're putting DP on cooldown, you're putting Void Bolt on cooldown, Mind Blast on cooldown. So you're pretty much keeping everything on cooldown. You can just go wild, right? This usually doesn't happen unless they're on your partners. Another cool thing about the Shadow Priest is it has a lot of utility. So you have Massive Spell and Life Grip. So like when you're with a healer in an arena match, you can always just keep an eye on your healer. Say like this is my healer right here, and say I'm owning everything, but then my healer gets full sheeped. Boom, Massive Spell. Massive Spell will be much quicker because with PvP combat on. Let me actually see if I can. Boom, there we go. Massive Spell will be a lot quicker and have a short cooldown with improved Massive Spell. So it's really cool. And then you have Life Grip. So if someone is going ham on your healer, or your partner is like kidney shot and about to be in a smoke bomb, you can just Life Grip them away, right? Life Grip away. And that's what's really, really cool about Priest as well. Shadow Mend, Mind Control, pretty dope for utility. If someone's on my guy, of course I can mend them up. If someone's trying to kill my guy, throw it a Mind Control. I have Vampiric Embrace for the off heals as well. Some huge bursts on the Priest. If we're trying to do big bursts, what we can do is first we want to get all our dots up, and we want to get Power Infusion and Holy Nova. But a really nice combo is Shadow Crash into an Unfurling Darkness. So Unfurling Darkness not only puts out the Vampiric Touch, but also instantly deals 4,700 shadow damage, which is like more than a Mind Blast, more than a Devouring Plague, more than, well, it's actually about the same as a Shadow Crash. A little bit less than a Shadow Crash, I suppose. About a little bit more than a Shadow Crash. So it's like Shadow Crash damage twice. So some nice big bursts is you can Void Erupt, get some damage rolling and Void Erupt for the extra spell power, right? And you can even pop Power Infusion and you Void Erupt, and then you Shadow Crash into an Unfurling Darkness, and they both land at the same time. The guy gets plummeted, dude. It's so much damage. From there, you just spam in the DPs and the Void Bolts. That's like the huge burst. And when you're doing that, you can throw either a Fear on the healer, a Silence on the healer, or a Horror on the healer, or any combination of those three. Like a Horror into a Fear into a Silence. If you're too far, or you don't have Fear, you can just Horror into Silence. And then once the CC is over, you pop the Psyfiend, because that will reduce the healing. So then the healer will pop their big heal into the Psyfiend healing reduction, which is pretty dope. I am playing Necrolord, so of course, start of every game you Fleshcraft. Every time it's up, you can Flesh, which is pretty cool. One of the cool things about Priest too is you have multiple trees, so if you get locked on Shadow Man, Mind Control, Fleshcraft, Vampiric Touch, whatever, you can actually just spam Purge, right? And Purging as a Priest with Dispel Magic is so good. You can also Desperate Prayer, Power Word Shield, Life Grip, Massive Spell, right? But being able to Purge, so if you ever get kicked, just like you're trying to get a VT off and you get kicked, you can just Purge all 3 targets, and that's usually what I do. Keep all 3 targets clean and just Purge them up, just like that. Like to stay aggressive and to force pressure on the enemy team, you can deal damage, or if you Purge them, you're getting a lot of pressure too. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I've been trying to do in Priest and arenas. I played a ton of different games, a ton of different comps. My favorite comp was probably, well, I hit 2400 playing Shadow Priest Ellie with a Mistweaver, but I think my Ellie was just really good and was just abusing Vesper Totem one-shots. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that comp. I think Shadow Priest Affliction Warlock with a healer was definitely one of my favorite comps, because you can just dot up everything with that Alph lock. If they're on the Warlock, the Priest can pump. If they're on the Priest, the Warlock can pump. It's pretty cool. If they're on your Warlock, the Warlock can play back and the Priest can push in. If they swap to the Priest plays back and the Warlock pushes in. So it's kind of this cool split pressure thing. Warrior, Shadow Priest, Shaman was also another good one that we climbed up with. And then the Shadow Priest Ellie. Played a little bit of RPS, didn't go super well because I think it requires more coordination. And then in 2s, I really like playing Rogue Shadow Priest and Shadow Priest Warlock. But yeah, other than that, just playing a bunch on the Priest. Wanted to make a quick video basically helping you guys if you're either doing 0 to hero, how to get started, or if you're playing a priest, you're trying to figure out exactly how to spec, how to do your talents, and kind of how to get started. Hopefully this helped. Gear breakdown is just haste verse, and we don't even have like fast and slug gear by any means, but there it is.